I basically just wanted to have a session which I thought would be useful for everyone, but also for myself, to basically revisit all augments. I think we all do this at the beginning of the set in PBE, especially new augments, and go over like how we like rank these with like a tier ranking, I guess. But I think in the context of lines is when it becomes most useful, and understanding, is an augment an S tier augment, a D tier augment for a specific line. I feel it's very useful. So I'm going to use 6 lines here as like the main meta lines right now. Kate Jace is one of the best ones. Soul Fighter is playable. I think it's actually pretty good. It's one of the few AD lines right now you can play. So it's more so that when you have AD items, I feel like this is where you're pushed towards. This or Kaisa. Yumi, Storks, and Cat. These are sort of the main lines that I'll consider in the current meta. There are definitely other lines we're missing here, but I'll just keep it to these 6. Otherwise, it'll be a little untenable to go over every augment for like 20 lines.
What's your thought on crew? I just had a coaching session with Brosif, and he was arguing that crew should be A tier, if not S tier, if you have a Malf 2 and a good 2-1 augment.
Yeah, I think with a little less backline access now, I can see it being good. Like without the Kali not being as dominant, I can see it being very good. I got a lot of reps in crew, or at least watching people play crew in our 4v4 prep, and I do think that comp is very good. I haven't seen it being played as much yet, but I do think it's very good. Yeah. We actually, we could. I feel like okay. I'm down. Actually, I'm down to consider it here. Let me trade out. Oh, let's just add it. Fuck it. Okay. Cool. Okay. I think it's useful for me anyway to also revisit what augments are good for crew. Okay. Let's get started. I'm just gonna go over literally every 2-1 augment in the game. AFK. Okay. As far as econ augments go, this one I feel like it has like a pretty significant downside, but 20 gold by 2.5 for a silver augment, I feel like it is not bad. I've been hearing people like shit on this augment a lot, but the reality is when you do want econ, I feel like this is pretty good. Like I wouldn't put it as one of the best silver augment econ options. I think in my mind the best ones for those are the best one is the one that gives you reroll transfer, I think. But this one I rate highly for any comp that wants econ. And so if you're thinking of Kate Jace, you want a lot of econ for this. You're not even sacrificing significant 3-cost odds. I think it's good for this line. Soul Fighter, I think this is more like a B because you don't need that much econ to hit your comp. You do like econ, but you give up odds for Callista and the Fury and Zin. So like losing the shops is actually reasonably significant. I'd say the same for Yumi. You're giving up odds for your Ezreal, your Syndra. It's like similar for all of these, right? You actually want odds for these units. For Cat, I would say it's a little better than it is for like these lines because you do want econ to be able to roll in 3-2. Your odds for Cat aren't that high, and also you're usually weak with Cat on stage 2. So I would put this as like A. Kaisa, I usually want to be not weak stage 2 because you want to kill units, and I feel like you're not as weak as you are with Cat. So I'll put this at a B, and then Crew I think is really low. I'd probably put this at like a C because you lose the odds you lose are really significant, right? You're losing 2-3 level 3 shops. Any issues here? Okay. Okay.
Can you actually full screen your browser?
Oh yeah. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Augmented power. This honestly, like maybe I'm undervaluing this augment, but I feel like I've treated this as almost a never click because I feel like it's not reliable what it gives you, both in terms of the next tier augment and also Prismatic. I feel like it's so all over the place. There's so many weird ones that you don't really want to take. The circlets are usually bad. The there's like a Morello one which you have anti-heal you can't even take. Like I've been treating this as a never take for everything. So I'm just gonna do this. If people feel differently about this, feel free to speak up. But for me, I'd never take this on 2-1. It is like there's no reliability in what it gives you, and usually it doesn't even give you that much.
Do you feel differently about it on 3-2? And if so, why?
No. I also because there are such few prismatic options, and because I think most comps you want like either econ or combat. The only like real way you'd really want this is if you really want items. But even then, like the item augments are so like all over. There's like a bunch of swords, which is not good in most comps. There's the Morello Death Cap one, which is also not good in most comps. There's a bunch of belts, which is only good in very specific comps. Like it's just so all over the place. Like there's no reliability in what you're gonna get out of it, and it barely feels any. I don't know. I feel like my view on this is that it's too unreliable, and it like the jump from one tier augment to the next doesn't justify losing an augment for a full stage. I don't know.
Okay.
What if you have the silver on 2-1 where you can get extra rolls, and then on 3-2 you could use this into a prismatic.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's like the one scenario. Yes. That's the one scenario where it's actually good. If you have beggars can be choosers. Beggars can be choosers enables augmented power on 3-2 to be good. Yeah, I agree with that.
So
sure. And it's also I'm pretty sure it's guaranteed prismatic on 4-2 if that's the case. Because I don't think there's silver.
No, silver isn't a thing, but it seems like what you're saying is they're, barring the usual, everything has its own niche, super narrow thing that, 99% of the time.
Yeah. That one is worth knowing for sure, though, because beggars can be choosers. I think is a good augment on 2-1. So if you get offered beggars can be choosers, then I think this becomes like S tier, probably.
Wait, is that because like you then are like gonna fish for a specific prismatic or something like that?
When you're given how many augment choices? You're given 12 augment choices, right? 12.
Yeah.
When you're given 12 augment choices, there are only so many prismatics in the game, such that you are guaranteed to get exactly what you want, basically. If you want econ, your odds of finding invested plus are really high. If you want I've even had this exact thing happen where it was I think it was silver into prismatic, and I got beggars can be choosers, and I rolled all my augments on 3-2. So I cycled through 12 prismatics. I started seeing bugged augments on 4-2 because there are only so many prismatics. I got offered Build-A-Bud on 4-2, and I got offered invested plus after already seeing invested.
Oh,
after taking invested. And so basically when you have prismatic guaranteed on 4-2, beggars can be choosers is really good.
Yeah, because there's tailoring that makes it so certain augments are ineligible in it. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, and there are only so many prismatics in the game. So being offered 12, you're guaranteed to see what you want, basically. Yeah. Okay. The next one is Band of Thieves. Okay. This is generally a very good augment. I think in Kate Jace, you typically want to play from ahead in this line. You don't want to be like low in HP by 4-1 unless you're guaranteed to be really rich with something like forward thinking to send it. So I think this is pretty good to stay ahead in HP. You can keep it on your Jace for a while and then move it on to like a Leona or something. So I think it's very good. Borderline S. Go ahead. So someone's.
Yeah, you were saying like, oh, you want to play from ahead this comp. Is there any comp that doesn't really care about whether or not it wants to be ahead? Like, I mean, it does feel like most comps want to play from ahead if possible.
No. For example, volley from last patch was you actually don't want to play from ahead. You want to play from you want to play from infinite econ, and you want to play from perfect items. Basically, playing from ahead in volley is like you're usually guaranteed to have like a bad placement because you're not going to be that rich, and you're going to have mid items, and you're going to lose to every other volley contester.
Gotcha. Well, within the ones you've got laid out here, which of these are like most comfortable playing from blue streak of these? So like, is there any that actually want to?
Usually cat, you have no option. You don't really have the option to play from ahead with cat because you typically are so weak stage 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're even with cat too. You can lose fights on stage 2. So usually you're weak, and usually you're over 9,000 cat. So if you like, that's one of the best conditions to play cat, and usually that means you're weak stage 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Kate Jace, but you can also play Kate Jace from behind, like things like Latent Forge and a bunch of econ options allow you to play this from behind as well.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to kind of put in context.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good question. It's a good question, for sure. Yeah. Soul Fighter is also typically a play from ahead because I feel like unless you like get to a Gwen 2, your cap isn't super high. I do think this comp is reasonable in this meta though. I've seen it do very well so far. I've done well with it. Like you take seconds, thirds a lot. What augments are we going through? Yeah, ideally all of them. We'll see how many we get through, given some reasonable amount of time. But my plan is to get through all of them, but we'll see. I do think this is good in this line. Your units you might think they are low value, but they all have a fuck ton of HP. Like a TG on a Xin Zhao later in the game isn't even that bad. If you get to play like a volley on your board or a Braum or whatever, like this TG is not low value. I think it's A to S. I would say Soul Fighter, yeah, I guess it's A because like I wouldn't say it's like a take over everything. With Yumi, you can put this in Kasante. A lot of items are good. I think it's also very good here. I think it's in Sorks that this starts to become like a little less value because you're putting this at this point on like a Jarvan or a Swain, which is it's like there are only so many items those guys can use, whereas like Asante and Yumi can actually use like a good amount of items. I view this as a bit weaker in Sorks than most other lines. For Cat, I feel like it's also pretty. It's like if you get to Akali as your duo, which just happens in some games, it's okay, I guess. But I'd much rather have like econ or things that help you get your Cat Biss early, or because you're already playing usually weak stage 2. So I don't like this very much with Cat personally. I think it's good in Kaisa. You put this on your Darius. You usually try to chase Darius 3. And you can move it eventually if you get Darius items. You want to be strong early to farm your stacks. Your board typically has a good balance, so you're going to be strong early game. In crew, this ends up going on your Shen typically. I think it's pretty good, right? Because you typically will 3-star a lot of units. You can put this on the other 3-star units you have for a while. It allows you to be strong early, which you do want to be strong. For a lot of the early game with crew. Crew, I think, is also a play from ahead because you are going to be weak for a lot of state rounds where you don't have your 3 stars. You don't have the ship. So I think I put this at like B. The best crew ones are like a mix of combat and econ. Say, like the really like juicer crew augment is Mogul's Mail. Mogul's Mail on Malphite.
Question with respect to crew, I was under the impression that like for stage 2, you basically have to like super giga prioritize getting your mouth like online with 3 items. So
yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
Is like Band of Thieves, like would you ever like take Band of Thieves just to, like throw it on mouth for stage 2 with the intention of moving it or something?
You could, but the issue is that means you're playing from backline items. I don't really like playing crew from backline items very much because you're saying is you would have backline items and then you TG the Malphite, and then but that means like by stage 3 you're likely taking like you're putting yourself in your spot where you're gonna have like a mix of items, which I'm not a big fan of. So I feel like I don't like playing crew from. If I had backline items and Band of Thieves, even with crew units, I just wouldn't play crew. I would just play the crew board and then play into something else.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I do like playing crew from like Stoneplate Visage kind of setups or Mogul Stoneplate, and then you complete Malphite items and then you figure the rest out later.
Yeah. Okay.
Beggars can be choosers. I think it's pretty good in Kate Jace. Like it gives you good econ boost. It allows you to potentially fish for artifact augments, right? You fish for a portable forge. You can fish for like trifecta, max cap, things like that. There are a lot of augments that really help your 3-cost reroll line. So I think it's good. You want econ. I don't view Soul Fighter as a very augment specific comp. I feel like you can just take whatever. So I think it's like just whatever in this line. I like it in Yumi. Yumi can use a lot of item augments. Like this comp can use both belt overflow and rod overflow. If you get to those, I think I've seen it. I've played it once where you get both of them and you're happy with it because you get to itemize your Malzahar, you get to itemize your Seraphine, you get to itemize your Cassante and your Leona. So you can fish for a lot of good augments with this. I would also say the same with Sorks, to be honest, because Sorks, I feel like it's like comps that fit a very specific archetype. I think are when Beggars becomes good, like a 3-cost archetype. It's less an archetype and more so like a type of cost, but like 3-cost comps typically have very specific augments they like. Soul Fighter doesn't truly fit an archetype, like it's just like a tank and a backliner, whereas Sorks does, right? Sorks is like you blow things up really early and quickly, and so I view this augment as being pretty good. You can take things like keepers, tons of stats to give you mana on start. You can take damage augments. So I like having the ability to handpick your augments. Bears for cat. I mean, there are many good augments you can find for a cat that can bail you out. I think this is pretty good as well. I put it at A. Like you can get, if you really need heroic grab bag, you really need a glove. If you really want Radiant Refactor, which is insane for a cat, it gives you the option to fish for those. I think it's really good in Kaisa because you can the prismatic allowing you to get radiant items potentially is really good. Right? Radiant items are super broken right now because of power ups. And so let me disable my May streamer mode this second. Getting too many notifs. Okay. Yeah. I think Kaisa is extremely broken with radiant, like most comps, and so enabling you to like really juice up your Kaisa with specific items, augments, heroic grab bag, stuff like that is really good. I think it's just okay in crew. Like you really want like your mix of combat and econ. So this is just econ basically on 2-1. I think it's just okay. Best friends 2-1. I think this is like bad for almost everything. It's like okay, I guess, in Soul Fighter. That's it. I'm saying F for everything. Like you really don't want this on 2-1. Taking this on 3-2 is probably okay, or 4-2, but like on 2-1, you're getting like pretty mid combat for like no econ to start the game. Just not a fan of this one on 2-1. Branching out, let's just skip branching out because like that one you typically don't click it with playing a specific comp in mind. Right? You click branching out and then you go into the comp that the emblem tells you to. We'll just skip that. Called shot, you can also basically skip. I'll skip a bunch that are caretaker's ally. Obviously, the game tells you what to play with that. Chaotic evolution. I'll skip a lot of the ones that like you're taking for very specific spots. You can probably take that for crew, but like it's pretty obvious, right? You don't play into the forecast lines with that. Component buffet. I think it's extremely good in this line. You want like a bunch of AD items, right, for Jace and Caitlyn. So I think it's very good in this line. Conversely, I think it's just whatever in this line. Like a B or even up B and put it as a C for Soul Fighter. Like the items are pretty easy to get to. 3 tank, 3 backline. If you're trying to play volley duo, it becomes very good. But I don't know how good volley duo is anymore. With Yumi, I'd also say the same. Like the items are not very hard to get to. The items aren't even very specific. It's like Archangel, Gunblade, JG, stuff like that. And then any 3 tank items. I feel like it's not very good in this line. Conversely, like with Sorks, I'd say buffet is very good. You want to have ideally like your Bis Karma, your Shojin JG guard, just because of the way AP works on like the stats multiply with each other and you get AP from Sorks. You really want like your vows on Jarvan, you really want 3 specific items on Gwen as well. You really want Morello / Red Buff, Void, and GA. So I think it's really good in Sorks. I think it's just okay in Cat. It is nice to allow you to build your Cat 3 items really quickly. And also guarantee you have like Shred, Anti-Heal, and good Rakan items. For Kaisa, I think it's just okay. Like same thing as Cat. It allows you to tempo your line back. So you're guaranteed 3 Kaisa items by 3-2. Yeah, I would say the same thing for crew. You don't really need super specific items in this line. But it allows you to make items earlier, so it's not bad in that regard. Crafting. This one is typically like this becomes S tier if you have like a high item opener. But if it's not a high item opener, I still view this as like reasonable econ. Not amazing econ, but like it's better when you're planning to roll earlier, I guess, right? Because these rolls don't accrue econ. And so the earlier you plan to roll, like, I think it's actually better in crew than most comps because you can make items on 2-1 and you can use your rolls on stage on 2-1 and 2-2 on level 3 odds. So I would say it's like at least B in crew. You can roll with Kate Jace on 3-2 in some spots, but like I don't think it's amazing. I'd say C. And then for the 4-cost lines, I think it's like takeable, but I put it at like C, I'd say. Unless you have like really good reason to believe you'll get a lot of items, or you start a lot of items. Yeah, and then for the 2-cost lines, I would put at B because you get to use the rolls sooner. Delayed start. This is just a lot of gold up front, right? A lot of gold gives you board strength. It's 12 gold up front in the form of units. I think this is really good in like almost every. It's no different for all these lines, right? Like, gives you board strength to play the 4-cost lines. It gives you a lot of econ to play towards them. You need a lot of econ for Kate Jace. You need HP. Usually you're not playing into Cat though if you take the late start, or you can play into Kaisa. I would say you don't play into Cat. Like, just put it at F, I guess. You're not playing Cat if you got these. If you take this, you can still play Kaisa though from this. There's no reason you can't, but it becomes harder to play Kaisa. And you can, like, if this prints you Sivir and Malphite, like you can play into them. It's like very specific, right? Put it like if Malph plus Sivir. Yeah. Okay. Diversified portfolio. Isn't this like this one feels like a trainer golem's check. I don't think this is playable in any con from 2.
I was looking at like the synergies on tactics.tools. There is one level 5 board that gives you 2 gold at it, that can get you 2 gold, but it requires Udyr. So I think this is one of those things where, like, if you have Udyr from your opener and from an orb, it's like a lot better. I'm one of those weird trait freaks who likes looking at those synergies, but like,
so what is it like? It's like Udyr, Aatrox.
no,
It's like,
I think it's Gnar, and I don't know if Aatrox is in there, but it's like Udyr, Gnar, Mundo, and I want to say Kale and Zac.
oh, I see. Oh, and I guess
Yeah.
that you play into that's a Rage Blade line, right? I guess
Sure,
those you
I
don't
mean-
really like playing into any of these though. I'm trying to think for these lines. There's probably
Yeah.
it's probably a Rage Blade line, but like none of these are Rage Blade lines. I could see that though.
guess-
It's probably good for into like Ash if you believe in Ash.
Yeah, but yeah, just like I looked that up the other day, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow, this is cool.
I can see that. Yeah, if you have Udyr and you have those units already, yeah, you can, and you want to play into Ash. That sounds potentially reasonable. 1 gold on 2-1, 1 gold on 2-2, 1 gold 2-3, and then 2 gold the rest of the way. Although your final board, I don't think has many. You probably have to play an Ash board that has a lot of traits, but I guess it's like a reasonable econ option, and I don't even think it's amazing in that spot. It's just acceptable, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, is what it sounds like to me, because you're printing 1 gold on 2. You're only starting to bring 2 gold to turn, starting 2-5, and I feel like it's not even like that insane.
Yeah, so trainer golem thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I won't even bother putting it here. I guess people typically skip this anyway. Efficient shopper. I think this is very good for 3-cost lines, because especially if you're running 2 3-cost units, because you can pick up one of the other on all your carousels, right? You have access to this starting stage 2 carousel, and then stage 3 and stage 4, like every carousel you have a chance to pick this up. So I think it's good. Gives you econ, gives you the unit. I think it's better in 3-cost lines than 4-cost lines. In 4-cost lines, it's better when you have like a ton of 4-cost units you can click, and if you're planning to lose streak. But I don't think it's like amazing. I think it's pretty bad actually in Soul Fighter. You only have 2 units you really want. Yuumi has 3 4-cost, so it's like a little better, I guess. Your items also aren't very specific, so you're willing to take like a Yuumi or a Leona or a Cassante with a not specific component. So I'd say it's better for Yuumi than Soul Fighter. For Sorks, you have just Karma, right? Karma Jarvan. I feel like it's same as Soul Fighter in that regard. Your items are also specific, so you don't really want to give up an item for a unit. Cat, I feel like your items are super specific. I feel like with Cat and Kaisa, it's like you don't really want to give up your item to take a unit that often. You do have access to your 2-cost units, I guess, but you only have one hit, right? Like here you have 2 hits, Kate or Jace. Here it's just Cat, and here it's just Kaisa. I feel like your odds aren't very high. I don't think it's awful for crew. Like your only big hit really is TF. I guess you can take the Shen or the Ziggs, but I don't know. It doesn't seem. Yeah, okay, maybe it's a C.
Would this augment be especially like better in the expanded carousel portals? Because you're more
Oh yeah,
likely
for
to-
sure. This is way better in that because your odds of finding the units you want are higher. Yeah, I think this is elevated a lot in strength in that one for sure. I for an I. Better in high in comps that really want a ton of items. In these comps, that the main one that wants a lot of items is Sorks. You want Gwen items, or you basically your shred anti-heal items, which are the Gwen items. You want the Karma items, and you ideally want tank items. It's also good in Yuumi, I guess, because Yuumi also wants a lot of items generally. So I would say like these are probably where it's like a B plus. It's still like not that amazing. I'd much rather have E. I feel like it's just whatever in Kate Jace, because you typically will have like most items you want by 4-1, which is when you plan to spike anyway. Also just pretty bad in Soul Fighter. Your main units are really just Samira, Set, and then eventually Gwen. Pretty awful in Cat, awful in Kaisa. I feel like I don't know. There's so many other better options. Crew can use a lot of items, but I don't think this also fits the bill of what you really want. Okay, good for something. If you plan to play weak, I guess it's okay in Kate Jace because you can make backline items even if you're planning to play like not very weak. So it's I typically view this as like if you're planning to make frontline items, just like especially a solo tank, like this is untakeable in crew, especially if you're playing a low number of units. Because your stone plate guy might not die, and then you also have just fewer units to proc this thing. I also feel like the comps that want to spike on 3-2, it's not as good because you're not willing to like 8 loss typically. Like I think this is best when you're 8 loss, like 0 units the entire 0 items until like 3-3. If you're willing to do that from certain spots, and you're not really willing to do that in Cat and Kaisa, so I put this at C for these. Our source, I feel like it's fine. You make backline items, or you can make no items. Same with Yuumi. Same with Soul Fighter. Basically, you're making Callista items and nothing. And here you are playing one fewer unit on 4-1, right? Than on stage 4. So you're proccing, which is a non-trivial amount of gold you lose, right? You lose like 3 gold from this in expectation if you're playing one fewer unit for the entire stage 4. So I would say this is like a C then, B or C. Healing orbs. Best obviously from tempo. It's strong early. I think it's in of these lines, it's best in Sorks because you don't have as much frontline and you do a lot of damage, so you can make up for your frontline by having healing orbs. It's similar to like duelist comps of old, where you have frontline through like your augments. So I put it at like almost like B because it's still combat on 2-1. You don't really want this. Everything else, I think it's super mid. It's like you're just praying to it's like 5. It's like a 5 streak check basically. It's not bad in crew because you get to heal your mouth, keep him alive. I do think it's pretty good in crew. It has to be like a win streak spot. In Cat, like I've thought this could be okay, but I feel like your Cat typically like doesn't die that early into the fight. Like the healing is just it's useful, but it doesn't seem like amazing on this unit. Iron assets. I think it's very good in Kate Jace. It's like a mix of what you want, right? Combat econ items. I think this is like very good in most comps actually. In Soul Fighter, I would say it's just whatever because you don't have specific items. Like it's good, but it's not amazing. I think it's good in Yuumi, good in Sorks. You need a lot of items for these comps. Good in Cat, good in reroll in general. It gives you econ to roll in 3-2, and then I think it's very good in crew. You want items, you get Malphite items, you get econ, some econ. Okay, item grab bag. This is like assuming you're wanting to play a line already, and you're like you already have units to play a line. are you willing to click this, despite being already like sort of committed to the units you have, right? And it's a question of like what lines can use AP and AD basically, or melee. And of these lines, it's really only I think. If you get AP in the lines you don't really want AP, you're fucked for the whole game. Like you're only good in Soul Fighter when you get to Gwen, basically, which is so late. So I think it's like okay in crew and like D and everything else. Yeah, like you get AP here, you're fucked. You get AD here, you're fucked. AD, you're fucked. AD, it's over. AP, it's over. It's like hard to play the game with AP here. Yeah, here you can get AP, you can play it around Janna. You get tank, you play around Malphite. You get Edge of Night, you're really sad. But it's like the only misses are Edge of Night and Titans, probably. Keepers. One of the most broken augments in the game. Not for this line though. This line you typically position in a weird way, right? So I think it's actually pretty bad for this line. I think it's probably not even awful, but like I think it's just what this line, because you're positioning in the where you split your board. It's also actually pretty mid in Soul Fight now that I think about it, because you already have a lot of stats. You already have a lot of HP on the board. I think it's good in Yuumi, extremely good in Sorks. With Cat, I feel like you end up positioning in a weird way with this. So I think it's just whatever. You typically try to like put Cat on the edge, right? And you either put Cat in like A1 or B1 or A7 or B7, something like that. And with that, it's hard to get good keepers value. I think it's you don't really take this in crew because you're solo frontline Malphite, and in Kaisa, let's see, the variants you can play. It's probably okay because you play a lot of frontliners in a lot of these, right? You play like a lot of Jugs or the mentor units frontline or the Rammus. I think it's pretty good in Kaisa. I guess it's just Sorks that it's really good in, like really really good in, or Duelist, but Duelist is not truly in meta in my mind. Kingslayer. Okay, I don't think Kingslayer is very good for 4-cost lines. I think it's best when you plan to be really weak until like 3-2, and then you can win rounds on 3-2 onwards. I think it's pretty good in those lines. And so with that being said, I think it's good in Cat. I'd say A, probably. If you have a good reason to play Cat already. Kaisa, you typically want to get kills early. I feel like it's not bad though. If you end up being weak. If you have one Kaisa and then you're forced to play Kaisa because your other augments are trash options, you can like play Kaisa from behind. I think it's okay in this spot. You need a lot of gold with that comp anyway. Crew, you do want a lot of gold in this comp. I would say it's takeable if you're playing it from like like what is the spot to play this? You're like 4 Sivers and 1 Malphite. So then you're like, okay, I'm incentivized to play this line, but I don't have Malphite yet. You have Malphite items, but you're weak. Then you're likely going to lose all of stage 2, but then you can come back and then you get all the gold back from winning rounds. I'll say that that's like not bad.
Clearly, it's when you have double augments in stage 2, you get worth the wait Siver, and then you take Kingslayer, and everything's fine again.
Yeah, worth the wait. Crew is so insane. Every time I see that, I just get triggered because it's usually not me, and they usually win. Yeah, that shit's good. Kingslayer Sorks, I hate it. I hate it into 4-cost lines unless it's like a really really giga win out 4-cost line, which it doesn't exist right now. I think it's like, yeah, like if you have a shit ton of gold. But the thing is, if you're taking Kingslayer, you're not projected to have a lot of gold. I was gonna say, like, if you're guaranteed Gwen, if you're like 100 gold on 4-1, you're like near, not guaranteed, but you have really high odds of Gwen. Then maybe you can make Sorks work in this playstyle of like losing, but I don't think it's very reliable. I don't think Yuumi from behind is very good. This is trash from behind. And this one is like semi-doable. You're like losing to 3-5. It's semi-doable. I'll put it at like a C. Like if you have like a Caitlyn orb with like sword and artifact, something like that, but you have nothing else to your name, like your board sucks otherwise, you just lose into 3-5 or something. I don't think it's very good either. Okay. Latent Forge. This is a big one to know. S, right? Like obviously you get Silvermere, you just instantly win the game. Sniper's Kate is very good. There are other Jace ones that are fine, right? Cutlass. I think DD is fine on Jace. Are there other good Caitlyn ones besides Sniper? I think there are, but this is basically just S because you can win the game instantly off this. I think it's a super mid and Soul Fighter. Nothing really good. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's F. Yuumi. You have Manazane, you have frontline hits. I would say it's like a B. You also have a Blighting Jewel, I guess, for your Malzahar. Not amazing, but it's pretty good. I think it's very good in Sorks, I think. Is Sniper's Gwen still like super busted? It is, right? I know RFC is no longer as insane, but after the change, it's actually not even that good anymore. Oh, maybe it's not even that broken then. Yeah, Sniper's is just whatever. It's probably a B then, because you still have Manazane and Blighting Jewel. You have Horizon, Jarvan. You have I guess Zhonya's Gwen is also pretty good. Probably a B. I didn't realize that Snipers is so mid now. And I know RFC is trash, but Snipers is just not even amazing anymore. Even Zhonya's is not that amazing on Gwen. Good to know. DFG is pretty good on Karma though. The Karma has what? What's up?
Those stats, it looks like almost no artifact looked good on Gwen.
On Gwen, yeah, I can believe it.
Wow.
Yeah, after the change, Manazane, Blighting, DFG, yeah. So there are hits on Karma, but that's basically it. But you also have the Jarvan ones. Yeah, I'll put it at B then. Cat has Dawncore is pretty good. Zhonya's is pretty good. I think that's it, right? Let me see. Innovating Rakan is really good. Wit's End, I guess, is okay, but the stats it's pretty low sample size. Let me see last patch if there's a little more stats. Yeah, Dawncore, Wit's End, Zhonya's, DFG. Okay, that's actually a lot. And then your Rakan has a lot of hits as well, right? I think probably like the immovable object one, and probably not even that one. Probably more so innervating is best. Horizon with the immovable, with unstoppable is insane. You have a few hits. Put it at B, probably. Nothing amazing. I think Kaisa Fishbones is like super broken. I'm pretty sure this is super broken. Yeah. Minus 0.7. And Flicker and Manazane are also insane. And it's probably very. And you can just take frontline ones if you miss. Probably like an A. And in crew, it's a little slow. I think it's pretty mid in crew. Probably a C. You want some strength early, and the moguls is too late at that point. 3-5. Okay. Lit Fuse. No one's clicking that onto 1. Skip that. Lunch Money. No one's skipping that. Cannon Hero Augment doesn't fit into these. 1s, 2s, 2, 3. I think it's very good into this. Gives you the odds that the Kate or the Jace, and you want Econ anyway. Can give you your Battle Academia units. So if you already have a Jace or Kate orb, I think it's good. Very good. Soul Fighter can give you what Viego. It's like not that insane in the 3 cost. Econ's also like kind of mid in this. It's just like whatever in this line. Not amazing. You don't need that much gold. B. You do want gold, but like not like you're not so desperate for. Put it like a B. Yuumi can give you Malzahar. Can give you Rakan. You have a lot of hits, right? With the ones, especially. Put it at A. Your ones are really good here. I guess they're also good in Soul Fighter, but I feel like there are more hits with Yuumi. Same with Sorks. I think there are a lot of hits, right? Swain, Lux, Kennen, Lucian. Pretty bad with Cat, right? You're just praying for Cat. It's like whatever. Same with Kaisa. I guess Kaisa can give you Udyr. It's probably a little better for Kaisa. Can give you Udyr, can give you Darius. Actually, it's not bad for Kaisa. Not amazing, but not bad. Give you Kaisa, can give you Udyr, can give you Darius. Crew. I think it's super mid in crew. Pretty sure. You don't really spike much off of these units at these costs. Over and encumbered. Let's see. We're getting 2 item components, which this used to be really good. Nowadays, this gives you. The thing is, this makes you poor. Is the issue? You get item components, but it makes you poor. It's like similar to Ifer almost. I don't know. Like it's nice to get extra items by 3-1 to spike, but I feel like every time you take this, you just feel really. So I'll put this at it's probably just similar to Ifer and I, to be honest. Like probably the exact same. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I guess it's like if you're trying to hold more units, then it makes it worse. But these comps, you don't hold that many. It's just crew, right? It's probably even worse for crew, I guess. D, I guess. Okay. Pandora's bench. I think for 3 costs, it's way on 2-1. It's way too slow, way too expensive. This is almost untakeable on 3-1. On 2-1, maybe you can take it in some spots on 3-2 or 4-2, but usually with 3 costs, it's a little expensive. Too slow by then. It's F on 2-1 for that line. F for this line probably. Right? I mean, it allows you to have Gwen, but like super this line. You have a lot of 4 costs in Yuumi. You can also get to the Seraphine. But on 2-1, like into a 4 cost, like I'm pretty sure these are playable basically. 2-1 into a 4 cost. 2-1 into a 2 cost. Also like super mid. Yeah, but this is like okay. Cat is a little better than Kaisa because you have Rakan as well. Whereas Kaisa at 2 cost is I guess you have your main tank, but I don't know. I think it's a super mid for 2 costs on 2-1. Unless you're starting off with like being insanely rich from Scuttlepod or something, such that it's not expensive to hold. And I think it's good in crew. I think it's A actually. In crew. Because you use it. It also gives you higher odds to find the TF. It might actually be S. It's probably an S. I think it's one of the best augments for crew. Pandora's. This is basically the same thing as component buffet. Nearly the same thing, right? Component buffet is just a little more tempo. Because you get to choose your first item, basically. Whereas this is a random first component. It's basically the same thing, though. Patience is a virtue. I think it's one of the most broken augments in the game. It's just so much econ. You don't even have to like use it every turn, depending on what you see in shop. I think this is good into almost all of these, except for maybe Soul Fighter because you don't need that much econ. You prefer tempo. Actually, it's probably not as good into Yuumi as well because you want to play like around your 1 costs a lot, like your Syndra. Okay, so I would say for Kate Jace, it's very good. You just bank. You're not likely to find Kate or Jace anyway early game. You just bank up your rolls into like a 3-5 or a 4-1. Into the 2 cost lines, I also like it. Like you don't even have to use it every turn. You just play weak and then you time your rolls so you're only rolling on very specific turns, and all the other turns you plan. You roll a lot in 3-2, and then you roll a lot in like 3-7 or 4-1. I like it a lot for the 2 cost lines. For crew, I don't think this is very playable. Probably an F even. Soul Fighter. This comp doesn't want to. This is like a good for like play from behind, right? Or like play from behind because you're going to be weak for a lot of the game, or like you already have a strong board, such that you're willing to just play around what you already have, and you're not going to be really low in HP. I feel like it's not that good for a Soul Fighter. You want to play around the Fury 2, Callista 2, or get to those. It's like whatever in Yuumi. Yuumi comp is expensive though, so I can see it being value in that sense. And for Sorks, It is also an expensive board. You want to get to the Gwen, but like you typically want to hit like your Lucian too. It's fine though. I feel like it's pretty good in these lines because these lines cap higher, right, than Soul Fighter typically, and so you're willing to dip a little bit in HP. That's why I rate them as higher than Soul Fighter. I'm gonna skip Zach, Hero Augment, Placebo. It's like a mid econ augment, but in some spots, like you still just want to take this, just because you'd much rather take econ than other options in many spots. So you're never like super happy about this because the amount of gold it gives you is just less, for example, than like delayed start, or it's also less than the ones that give you rolls like a reroll transfer. So it's a mid econ augment, but like you're never like you shouldn't be that unhappy clicking this if you really want econ, because at least you got offered econ. I think it's pretty bad in the Soul Fighter, but it's not. It's probably like a B for everything, except for maybe Crew, which really wants like more than just econ. Yeah, because you can afford to like have one silver augment be just gold to start the game with the 2 reroll lines here that we have, and all of these as well. Fine with it. Like, yeah, you don't really want that much econ in Soul Fighter, but you can take some. It's still a 4 cost line. Pocket Recon Bob. I've been told this is good for Crew. It's good for the 2 cost lines as well, because what you can do is your items need to be flexible though for both, for like several 2 cost lines. I think it is better when GP was in meta because you could Recon Bob a 1 cost, and if you get either GP last patch, if you get either GP or like Kaisa or something you want to play, then you just play it. And if you don't, then you can Recon Bob another 1 cost, or you can Recon Bob into a 3. But now that there aren't as many good 2 cost lines, it's probably not. So you're not playing this into a 3 cost line to cater Jace typically, unless you like want to. I mean, you're just gambling, right? So with this one, so like I'll just say like if you hit, then it's playable. If you hit the Jace 2 or K2, then yeah, sure, it's good. Soul Fighter, it's like you don't really play it into these 4 cost lines typically. Like you're gonna play on like a Viego, not really. Yumi play on like a Mal's, right? If Mal's, I guess if you double Recon Bob into a 3 cost. This one is like if Swain, basically, I guess, or Ari. I don't think it's very good though if you hit Ari. You're not even guaranteed to 5 streak. Like the times you take this, I think, are when you have shit other options, or / your items are flexible for like several 2 cost lines. I think. Is that ever the case though here? Like this is like, I guess you would have to have like sword tier glove. If you're specifically sword tier glove, I think it's actually pretty, because you can play into Cat or into Kaisa, right? And you can just put on 2 1 costs and you pray you hit one of these, and if not, then you just play around whatever you have, I guess. So I think it's fine for these, like a C. I've also heard with Crew that this is, you have to get zigs from it. Like, nah, there's no way. This is the way you play this with Crew is that you have to 3-star your Silver or your Malphite, and then you just pray you Recon Bob it into like an insane unit. But I don't think this is a very good game plan. But you make a 3-star 3 cost on a 3-1. Like I've seen clips of people do that, and then they hit like Viego 3 and they like lose on stage 3 because they have no setup, no items for their 3-star. Preparation. Kate, Jace. I feel like it's a little slow. It doesn't give you what you want. You want econ, you want usually in 2-1 it's econ for these 3 cost lines, or like the unit themselves, or like some tempo. This gives you none of these. I feel like it's pretty bad for them. On 2-1 Soul Fighter. I don't think this is bad with the Soul Fighter because you keep your units the whole game. You can like, if you're like Nefiri paired, Callista paired, you can kind of just play around these. Like this comp's not that expensive as well, so like you can kind of abuse the fact that it's not expensive and have some combat. It does give you more if that's what you already have, but I think this prep one is like a pretty good augment in general as a silver augment. I think it's also pretty good in Yumi. You can like juice up all your low cost units, keep them the whole game. And conversely, it's not as good in Sorks, right? Because you already get a lot of AP. The rest of the stats are pretty bad. I'm pretty sure it's a D in Sorks. I'm pretty sure it's a C in Yumi. Actually, Yumi's pretty expensive, so like it's okay, not amazing. Cat, she doesn't have that much in the way of stats. I actually think it's okay in Cat. It makes you a little poor, but it allows you to be really strong stage 3, like a fully prepped Cat. I think it's like a B. And then in Kaisa, you already have a lot of AD, right? And I feel like it's a little slow. I'm not a big fan of it in Kaisa. And in Crew, you really want Econ. I feel like you don't really want straight raw combat in Crew. Pumping up. Kate Jace. Again, doesn't really give you what you want. I don't like this in this line. Your Kate is also spending the entire fight like in cast animation, so attack speed isn't even that good for her, I think. I feel like attack speed's also just whatever in this line. Like Samira likes the Shojin, and she's like spending a lot of time in cast animation as well. This augment is so mid. Yumi, she also spends all her time in cast animation. I don't know, I'm not a fan of this in this line either. Sork's attack speed is like fine because you want to start the fight and do damage right away. So I think it's okay in Sork's, but still not amazing. Cat. It's the same thing. Like Cat does like attack speed and casting a lot, but she's also spending a lot of time blinking. I feel like she's not sitting there auto much, so I feel like it's a C here. It's better value than these two comps, but still not that good. Kaisa's also spending all the units have long ass cast, which makes the AS not even that good. She also already has duelist. I feel like it's super mid in this line. And Crew, I mean, a lot of your I feel like it's also not what you want. You want Econ? Okay. Reroll transfer. This is best. This is a lot of gold, a lot of rolls, which is basically a lot of gold. This one is best when comps don't need super specific augments. You can just click whatever, which is most comps really. So I think it's very good in Kate Jace. You need a lot of gold, a lot of rolls. You can use the rolls whenever. Soul Fighter, you also don't need very specific augments. I think it's very good. You get to get a bunch of rolls. Maybe you go 9 with this now because you rarely have to roll gold. You just use all rolls. Yumi's also not super specific with combat augments. I would say this is like also very good in Yumi. It's Sorks that I think you don't really want. There are a lot of augments you don't like. You like a lot of upfront damage augments, and you don't. There are a lot of like whatever survivability or tank augments that are like not very good for you. So I think I would probably drop this to B. It's still very good. It's just not amazing. Not as amazing as it usually is. I think having rolls for these comps are really good. You basically get to hit your 2-star units on 3-2 and stay above 50, and then you get to use it again on 4-2 to hit the 3-star. Crew, you can use a lot of combat augments, so it's fine, I guess. It's a lot of rolls. Yep, you need a lot of rolls to hit your whole board 3-star. Okay, risky moves. This is basically just a tempo 2-1 check, right? I think this is takeable in basically every line. You just have to have tempo. And it's welcome in every line. It's like you're never able to play it into Cat, I guess, basically, because you're always going to be weak with Cat early game. With Kaisa, if you're like Kaisa 2 right away, then sure. I don't think you ever take this into Crew. This also is like better when your comp really needs specific items because it allows you to win streak and you get your first pick right on Caro. So I think it's best into those lines. So it's probably not as good into Soul Fighter, and it's better into the other lines. I think it's A, but this is a conditional, right? If strong. If it's weak, you just never click this, right? A for everything except for Soul Fighter, which doesn't need specific items and as high. So I feel like I'm losing 20 HP is kind of costly, but it's still good if you're from ahead. Kaisa, it allows you to get your items. Your items are pretty specific in Kaisa. You want like AD background items. Put it like a C. It's also kind of annoying in 2 cost reroll, right? Because you get it on 3-3, right? It's after 7 combats, and you want to roll typically on 3-2. So like you end up setting it to 0, you lose all your, or like on 3-2 potentially, you lose all your econ, and then you get it back, but like you lost 1 turn of econ, which is kind of annoying. So I feel like it's not that amazing in 2 cost reroll. It's not horrible. I think I'm probably underrating. It's probably like a B. I don't like it in cat though, because you're already gonna be weak. You end up dipping really low in HP. And then crew outs, it does give you a lot of gold. I feel like if strong, it's probably like a C. You like the gold to hit your whole board, but like typically the gold comes a little late. Right? You want the gold on 3-1 to hit your one cost. I'll skip Garen here. Augment second wind. 2-1. Pretty bad on most comps. 2-1, right? It's almost every comp it's bad at 2-1. Maybe Soul Fighter is like acceptable because you have a lot of stats in this comp and it's not that expensive. You can try to win streak off this. You get a lot of HP, which allows your second wind to proc a lot more HP healing. But I feel like it's too much of a not econ on 2-1 kind of thing for most comps. I don't like this very much in cat. You also kind of want econ for these. I think in crew it's like very good because usually it'll get your Malphite like full value, really good value. But so I'd probably put it like a B, even though it's not what you really want. But it's just so good for your Malphite that I can see it being good. Silver Destiny. I mean, this one you're typically not playing into a specific line. You typically just click it. So like, I feel like too much effort, and also it's not even something you really consider. So how good is Silver Destiny into each of these lines? Let's just not even bother with it. Silver Spoon. 10 gold and not gold is in just XP is not that amazing, but at the same time it allows you to 4-1, right? 4-1 perfect interval. That's like the main value of Silver Spoon. It potentially allows you to win 2-1 if you're in win stage 2 if you're trying to play around 5 streak and you're a little worried you're going to lose 2-1, but like you have a lot of potential for your board to spike through as the stage goes on. That's when I think Silver Spoon is best from win streak. And then it also allows you to 4-1. So when you're contested in 4-cost line, it can be good because you 4-1 more easily, assuming your contester doesn't have econ options or is just like a mid econ option. I guess Kate Jace you do 4-1. It's actually probably okay in this line because it gives you earlier odds for Caitlyn and Jace on stage 2. Probably okay. Not a lot of gold though, but like it allows you to 4-1 on tempo on like interval, which you do want to do it anyway in this comp. Soul Fighter. I mean, you can be strong with this early game. You have like 4 Soul Fighter early, Xin, Lux, like on 2-1 or 2-2, like 5 units. So I think it's okay in that line. 4-1, but you're not like that contested. I'd probably put it like a C. Yumi. I feel like it's just not that much gold. I still put it at C, I guess. It's like if you have no other econ option and you might be contested, that's when it starts to become higher in value. But otherwise, it's pretty shit, I think, in these lines. Because you're not playing around 4, you're playing around 3-2, right? This allows you to 3-1, which is not even like it's F in this line. Okay. Almost done with silvers. Spoils of War. I think it's good in Caitlyn Jace if you're from ahead. Because it gives you dupes. It gives you dupes, gives you items to fill out your Caitlyn and Jace. And you're trying to play from ahead anyway. I think in the 4-cost lines, it's pretty awful. You have to be really strong, and even then, I feel like it's kind of mid. You're also pretty weak with Cat, typically. It's probably okay in Kaisa, if you're strong. You get to farm items for your Darius, you get to farm dupes. And crew, I think it's pretty bad. The dupes aren't that high value when you're duping 1 cost. Put at D. Survivor, let's skip. Table scraps. Okay. Caitlyn and Jace. I actually think it's pretty good because you can use chains and cloaks on Jace, right? Pretty easily. BT is not even that awful in Jace, I think. Right? Isn't BT fine on Jace? Yeah, that's actually good. Okay, it's good on Jace. Yeah, you can use a lot of the shit components. And it gives you some gold as well in the form of the unit. Also gives you 1 gold to start. I think it's actually pretty good in this line. And comps that use a lot of frontline is also pretty good because you don't mind getting the frontline components. think it's like okay in Soul Fighter. Extra components aren't the worst. You put them on Gwen eventually, but gives you gold and items.
Hey Marcel, can you lock the top row? Like pull down the.
How do I do that? Is it
if you hover right over the one, you should be able to. Oh, okay, yeah, there you
go. Cool. Table scraps for Yumi. You like a lot of items in this comp. This gives you some econ in this line. You can itemize your Cassandre and your Yumi and your Leona. Sorks, I feel like, is not the same. You don't really value that much frontline. You want some, but I put this at a B for Sorks. You do like a lot of items, but I mean, it's not even that bad actually, because like it allows you to make Gwen and J4 items. You get double tank items. You can itemize Swain and J4. It's not even that bad. It's probably still an A. Cat. It does give you econ to like a little bit of econ. It's actually not even that bad in this line, right? Because you get to itemize your Rakan earlier. Cat can use chain as well, and belt. I feel like it's fine. It's fine in both Kaisa and Cat. Allows you to spike sooner. I think it's very good in crew. It gives you Malphite items typically. You want more items in this comp. It also gives you some econ. This is like the perfect mix of what you want. If you look at the crew ones that are best, in my mind, it's table scraps, iron assets. It's like a mix of econ and combat. Team building. If you're not duping something right away, I still don't think it's I think it's like not nearly as good because it's equivalent almost to just like taking an econ augment. But that assumes you use the dupe to 2-star the unit. Now, if you're using the dupe for the last copy of the 3-star, this is actually a lot of gold, right? Because the last copy of your 2-star of your 3-star unit is usually like pretty expensive. And so saving it for that, assuming you're allowed to based on your spot, can actually be a lot of gold. But if you're using it just to 2-star your unit on like your 3-2 roll down, then usually it's like not that value. I think it's as good in Caitlyn and Jace. I think people are pretty. I've heard people like shit on this augment as like you must be doing something instantly. If you just save it, then it's not that good. But I don't think that's the case in my because the last copy of your 3-star, if you're willing to save this dupe until then, depending on your spot, and the opportunity cost is a silver augment, which is not that insane. It represents a lot of gold, right? I think it's like okay in this line. If you do something instantly, I think it's a lot better. It's probably like closer to A or S. But that's obvious, right? If your case Jace pair is the most obvious one, then you just dupe. F in this line, F in this line, F in this line. I think it's pretty good in these lines still. For the reason I was saying, you save it for the last copy, or you save yourself from like sending it really deep on 3-2. And in crew, it's just whatever. Doesn't save you that much gold. Malphite hero augments not here. Titanic Titan. Let's see. It turns you to like second/third pick, right? Is the downside of it. But assuming you're gonna play from ahead anyway, I actually think it's okay in this comp because like you like playing from ahead. Second or third pick usually can get you the items you want. I think it's fine. Not amazing, but fine as a 2-1 augment. Same thing here. Like you don't need specific items here. It's like fine. Playing from high HP is usually fine. It's like fine. It's like probably as much HP as you would save from having a real augment, so which makes it fine. It potentially allows you to like not level and not worry about HP so much for a little bit of the game. So maybe it makes you econ in that regard. Yumi, I'll say the same. It's usually Sorks, I think, where like you really like first if you're trying to play like from behind, and this doesn't allow you to do that. I'd probably put this a little lower. Your items are more specific. Cat items are not that specific, so I think it's like fine in these lines as well. And then in crew, it's actually fine in crew as well. I think if you just play it slowly, you don't you make up econ by just not having to send super deep early. You don't need specific items. I think it's fine in these other lines. Young and wild. I think it's very good in Caitlyn and Jace. It gives you 5 gold up front, which you like. It gives you ability to yoink every Kate and Jacelyn. Kate and Jacelyn. Kate and Jace off carousel. It's better in the lines with 5 costs. So it's probably like a B. What the reason why it made me think of A is because I thought A when thinking of the line because you want a lot of swords. It's probably still A because you get to take every sword, which is what you want in this comp typically. All the swords like DB, IE, Shojin for Caitlyn. More swords even for Sterak's, BT for Jace. Probably A still for in this line. Soul Fighter, it's like okay in this line. Like you only have 2 4-cost hits. You have the Gwen, but your items aren't that specific, so I think it's more like a B. Here, I'd say the same. Like you like having control of your items, but it's not that insane for you. You like having access to Seraphine, it's also not that insane for you on stage 4. So whatever. I think Sorks it's very good. You get to pick all your items to make your best like Shojin JG guard. You get to get your Gwen, which is an insane spike on stage 4. I think it's good there. I think it's just whatever in Cat. Like you get like a Rise on stage 3. It's not even that insane, or Leona or Yumi. It's like whatever. Your items aren't that hard to get. Kaisa, probably same thing. It's just like whatever in this line. Crew allows you to get the TF. It gives you econ. It's like a B probably. Having access to the TF is like no small thing with this line. Okay, we did everything for all the comps here. Overall, as you're saying, like Crew is a mix of econ and combat. Kaisa and Cat followed similar patterns of like wanting to spike on 3-2. Sorks are like specific items, but 4-cost lines, you still need some econ. Yumi, less specific items than Sorks, but still you want a lot of econ. Both of these have high caps. Soul Fighter slightly lower cap, but sometimes if you Gwen 2, you can still win. And so we adjusted our logic based on that. And this one, you want like a lot of swords. It's a sword hungry comp, so it's item specific. You want a lot of econ because it's an expensive 3-cost comp. Yeah. Okay, that's it for silvers. I don't know if we'll get through everything. Maybe I'll get through. Does anyone have a preference of? I'll probably just do one of these. I feel like it'll take a bit too much time to get through everything. Do people here prefer gold or prismatic? If no preference, I'll just choose, but I'll give you guys a chance.
Can you do prismatic?
All right, let's do prismatic.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm so almost cool.
Let me scroll down to 2-1 prismatic. Exalted Adventure. That one's obvious. If you get Kat or Kaisa, it's good. If you don't, you don't. Let me lock this row. It goes here. Okay. At what cost? Is that really worth going over? I feel like people don't. I guess you. Not really. At what cost? I mean, sure. It gives you really good odds to find Caitlyn and Jace like early, but I feel like your augments are pretty specific in this line. So I don't really like. I don't even think it's that bad in Soul Fighter. If I'm being honest. I feel like your augments are just whatever. You don't need specific augments. Isn't it fine in Soul Fighter actually? Yumi, I feel like it's not that. Like if you get randomly AP items, you can still make it work, right? You can still get to Gwen. Whereas, for example, if you're playing Yumi and you get Sword Overflow, just FF, right? I think it's awful for these lines. I think it's awful for Cat. But getting to level 6 really early is not that big a deal. Awful for this, awful for this. It's just Soul Fighter. Okay. Bastion Crown, no one's taking that. I'll just skip that. Battle Academia Crown, no one's taking that. Basically. Birthday present. I mean, isn't this one already like very obviously just like a goal opener kind of game? I'll be honest, like I'm a pretty bad birthday present player. I just haven't played this much, especially not in tournament. So I don't even know if I can give really good justification for when this is good or bad. If I had to think through it, yeah, I won't even try. If I'm being honest, I feel like I rarely take this. I feel like I don't know. Build a bud. Let's see. This one requires looking at all the one costs, right? Okay. If you get basically if there are lines where you can pivot into each of these other lines from Build-A-Bud, then it makes them better, I guess. So like, I mean, but like a lot of them are obvious though. Like if you hit Callista or Nefiri, you're just playing Soul Fighter. There are sometimes lines where you hit one and you pivot them into a specific line. I don't know if that's the case in this current map. I guess Yuumi has a lot of hits, right? It's probably a B at least. You have Garen, you have Ezreal, you have Syndra. I think Syndra is much better played into Rising Chaos Star Guardian. So, with Kate and Jace, I guess you can play around Garen, but it's probably not even that bad if you did that. You don't even get to make items. I actually think it's okay though on this line because if you had 80 items, you can. I don't know if you'll ever really want to play an 80 Build-A-Bud into Caitlyn or Jace, but like there's some spots where that might happen. You get dropped like a Callista, and then like you find a million Kates and Jaces on the way up, and you just decide to pivot into that. It's definitely doable. I think it's very good in Soul Fighter, right? You play on Nefiri 3 or Callista 3, and you can either pivot off of them, you keep them, but like have them hold like some shitter items later on, or you stay on them the whole game. Sorix is usually just the Lucian 3. I think Kennen 3 is like a lot worse. So if you really wanted to play Sorix, like you probably don't. This is probably awful. Cat F, Kaisa F, Crew F. Actually, Crew is S, right? You hit the Sivir or the Malphite, like you're happy. If not, then you just don't play Crew. So it's actually just an S, right? You either play Crew or you don't play it. If you play Crew, you're happy. Okay. I lost my spot. This again. Buried Treasures is a good one to go over. I don't think it's very good in this line, right? Like it allows you to itemize a tank, but you're typically not hitting Leona 2 if you're not taking Econ into 1. You're not hitting Yuumi 2 if you're not taking Econ. I feel like it's not very Soul Fighter. Here you basically have to play volley. It's probably like B, probably like an A. Have to play volley variant. I just don't know if these variants are good anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure. Just because they're I don't know what the stats say about volley right now. I'm assuming he's bad. He's one of the worst 5 costs. He doesn't look god awful. Akali is the worst one by far. Holy shit. These Akali stats are something else. Wow. Okay. Yuumi. I think it's very good in Yuumi. You get to itemize all your units. Your Malzahar, your Seraphine, your Cassante, your Leona. It makes you a little poor, but you don't need that. Like you can play the game sometimes with Yuumi not being very rich. You play around your Mal's 2 or your Syndra 2 for a lot of stage 4. I think it's also pretty good in Storks. You just feel poor as shit. But I think it's good in this line. You want items in this. You want to itemize your Jarvan, your Karma, and your Gwen. Cat, I think it's really bad in this line. You don't need that many items. It's not awful, I guess. It's like because you get to itemize Rakan early. You don't need that specific items though in Cat. It allows you to get a duo going with Yuumi, but like don't think it's amazing. It's like okay in Kaisa as well. Like you get to itemize your Darius, you get to itemize your front line, you get to get 3 item Kaisa earlier. I actually think it's better than in Cat because your carry is typically your duo carry is typically a Darius, and you can get to Darius 2 on stage 3 some games, so it's actually not even that bad then. Crew, I think it's okay. It just doesn't give you econ, which makes you feel really poor. Maybe put it like you like a lot of items in this comp, but I feel like you feel too poor taking this. Probably like a C or a B. Caretakers. I assume there are good radiants on Caitlyn and Jace. I haven't looked very thoroughly, but I feel like in general, the radiant items are broken right now. So I would assume that these exist. What are the best ones on? Let me just look real quick. The best ones on Caitlyn are Radiant Blue is super overstated. Radiant DB, Radiant Trojan, a lot of hits, and Jace probably. Actually, don't even know. Radiant TG. No. Where's Radiant TG here? That's not even on. Actually, Jace has way fewer hits. It's just Derek. Look at that. Radiant TG, Radiant Sterax, Radiant BT, Radiant Titans, Radiant Hunch. It's a lot of hits, actually. Yeah. It allows you to pick your items more specifically, and that many items. I think it's actually pretty good in this line. You need to be not poor though. I think like gold opener is when Caretaker's chosen his best. Probably like a B. Soul Fighter, I feel like the items aren't so specific. Again, it's like a B. A have to play volley. I think it's pretty good in this line for the same reason Buried is good. But I don't think Radiants pop this comp off that much is the thing. I feel like Radiants are way better on the units that like kill stuff ASAP when the fight starts. And Yuumi doesn't really do that, right? Does Yuumi even have like a broken Radiant item? I feel like they're not like that insane. Yeah, see? It's just a 0. Whereas like if you look at Kaisa, she just bursts everything down. I feel like when this unit sees Radiant items, like the game is just over. Yeah. Minus 0.4, minus 0.3. Yeah, so I think it's actually you would take a tank one, and even then it's like not that. Actually, probably a C in light of that. Karma is probably Radiant Blue. Is my best guess. Is the best item here. Yeah. Radiant Blue. Radiant Blue, Radiant Shojin. Actually pretty good, right? Like the delta is pretty good, and it just makes sense. You get this unit to cast up. Probably a B. You like specific items in this comp, so it allows you to choose your items a little more. This one you're fishing for Radiant. Are there Radiant items with the cat that are like equivalent? They're similar to the hot. Is Guardbreaker like playable? Radiant Blue is again broken. There are a few that are okay. Yeah, it's not the worst actually. You can take GS, you can take Gunblade, you can take Strikers. Probably a B then. Kaisa is probably an A. Although you have to get to level 7, right? Oh wait, you have to get to level 7. Probably a C then. Never mind. Sorry. Like you'd have to fuck up your leveling interval just to get your Radiant. Like it can work in some games, but some games if you're poor, it's hard to get to level 7 and still hit. Crew, I feel like level 7 is too late. Okay. Crystal Gambit Crown. You can take that, but like I feel like that's not these. Duelist Crown, it's not these lines. Edgelord Crown, no. Executioner Crown. I think this is very good in Cat. Well, yeah, I think it's good. It gives you Cat +1, gives you Strikers. It's like an A. Obviously, you don't play this in the other lines. Expected. I feel like this is good in every line. Gives you dupes, gives you rating items, sometimes gives you artifacts which are broken. I feel like it's good in every line except maybe Soul Fighter. Like A, like a C here maybe. Okay, I guess in this line there aren't that many broken. There's Manazane. There aren't that many broken Radiants. There's probably a B in this line. And there's probably an A here, an A here, an A here, and a. It's also an A here. There are good artifacts and it's like a B, I guess, because it gives you a mix of gold and combat, which is exactly what you want in this comp. Okay. Flexible. Let's just skip that. Saying to these lines, going long. Longer gain interest, gain 15 gold now. I also haven't played this one very much into a wide variety of lines. This one is like best when you really want to get to 9, right? You're guaranteed to get to 9 XP. I feel like the get to 9 comps are Yuumi. And isn't out of these, isn't that it? Maybe Sorks, because you get Bastion with Braum. So I would say out of these lines, these are probably like okay with this. Not amazing, but okay. This allows you to get Bastion in and Braum. And the rest of these is just whatever. I think it's like pretty bad actually, because you lose. It's not like that much econ, and it's a prismatic. Yeah. Hard commit. Dude, I feel like these emblems are so bad. Yeah, plus you're never taking that to play into these lines. Let's just skip. Hedge fund. It feels a little slow for Kate Jace. I don't think it's awful though, because it's an expensive comp. You will just be. I think you have to play it from like not full open, so you're not like one life. Because typically hedge fund doesn't give you enough gold like hit your 3-star by 4-1, like with high odds. You will hit your 3-star by 4-1 in some games, but not every game. And if you're playing like full open into 4-1, you're gonna need to hit instantly, and that's not gonna happen. So I think it's like okay. You have to just like play it normal. You have to have a good reason to believe you can be. But if you're gonna be full open into Caitlyn with this, I don't think you're gonna have a good time. I don't think it's very good in this line. Like you're just sending it for Samira and Set on 4-1. I feel like it sounds so bad. I think it's good in these Yumi and Sorks because it allows you to go 9, right? It allows you to basically hit and then go 9, 4-5, or like 5-1 very easily. So I think it's actually like pretty good in these lines. Gives you econ, like a lot of econ, and then allows you to roll, hit, and then go 9. So yeah. It does make your early game really weak, but it is a lot of gold. What would it be? Hedge fund into Cat and Kaisa. Out of these, I feel like Kaisa is the highest cap. But even then, I feel like this doesn't give you enough. Like your compensation here with Kaisa is that you get to like play around like Darius 3, but I feel like Darius 3 is not that insane in this. He's just whatever. I think it's pretty bad in Cat. It's probably like a C in Kaisa. It also makes you weak for a lot of the game, and you want to be strong in Kaisa to scale your AD. Hedge fund crew. It's probably okay. A lot of econ, you get to send it. But like I feel like it's not that amazing. It makes you a little weak as well, even though you hit early. Investment strategy. I think this is okay in crew. It is a mix of econ and combat. In my mind, this is okay in crew. You're lacking items, but it's fine. And I think in everything else, it's unplayable, if not mistaken. I think. I'm trying to think a little more thoroughly. I don't think so. I don't think it's takeable any of these other. You don't benefit that much off of like a lot of HP in these other lines, and you don't have all your units ready. I think it's just crew. Level up. And this one is you only take this when you have gold opener, right? Gold opener or like scuttle puddle. And if so, like, you're not playing into this. You're not playing into this. You're playing this like Yumi is like okay with this, but it's the same reason as like going long. The same logic as going long, really. Like you really want the levels, even though they work differently. D, F. It's basically F, but same thing. Living Forge. S in Caitlyn and Jace, right? For the artifacts. I think it's actually D in this one. There are no good artifacts in this line. This one has a few. It's just Manazane really for Yumi or like lighting for Mouse or frontline. It's not the worst though. Manazane is very good on Yumi, so yeah, this is now because of snipers not being as insane. It's just B as well in Sorks. It may even be a C. It's hard to say. There are a lot of hits in Cat, as we said earlier, right? We said this at it's the same thing as Latent Forge, I think, wherever that was. So I think this is a B. It's an insane. There's so many Kaisa hits. If you can double artifact Kaisa, you can just win the game. And in crew, I think Sivir has a few good ones, and so does Ziggs. Not really. Fishbones, I know, is very good on Sivir. She can just Malphite. I think is it's Moguls. Silvermere is okay. Innervating is good. Wits End is probably the hero augment. The Light Shield is okay. Yeah, Silvermere is okay. Indomitable is okay. There are a lot of hits actually here. And I think Ziggs has some broken ones as well. Shiv. And what else? I think there's one more. Shiv, Zonia's Flicker. Yeah, right. Flicker's also very good on Zig. So they're hits. So I think it's pretty good. Click B. B or A. Because if you get moguls, it makes you a little poor, I guess. Say B. Lucky Gloves, I don't ever click this one. Mess Halls, never click. 9 Lives is a good one to go over. So 9 Lives, I feel like people have been very mixed. I don't know if that's changed over time, but we went over this a lot in our 4v4 prep for EWC. Not just in the context of 4v4, but just in general. And I think this augment is very good if you can win at least like 3 fights by 3-7. If you're likely to lose almost every round by 3-7, I think this augment is very hard to play around. But if you're guaranteed like 3 lives going into stage 4, I think it's good. I forget if did they nerf this? Does anyone remember if they nerfed this in one of the recent patches? I don't think they did. Because if not, then I think this augment is still very good. You just have to not sell really aggressively on stage 2, such that you can win like 2-5 or 2-6 or 3-1 or 3-2 or 3-3. Those are basically your chances to win. And you win like 2 rounds, you're already in an okay spot because you're not pressured to like play around 1 life going into stage 4 or something like that. You get so many resources. So basically comps that can use a lot of items and artifacts are really good with this. I think it's very good in this comp. You get Econ. You can even get dropped Caitlyn and Jace from the drops. Get off artifacts. I think there's even a radiant item on the 1 life. I think it's awful for this line. This line is so whatever. Don't use many items unless you're playing the volley line. But right now, I'm assuming that Soul Fighter is more like this 6 Soul Fighter, 8 Soul Fighter line. Yuumi, you can use a shit ton of items in this comp. I think it's not even bad in this. I think it's very good in Sorks. The artifacts, you get to itemize your Gwen, you get to itemize your I think it's very good in Cat. You get radiant items, you get artifacts. You get to itemize your Rakan, your Yuumi eventually. You can drop Yuumi, you can drop like the good units, right? Your Leona's, Akali. Akali's pretty bad now though, I guess. I think it's very good in Kaisa as well. You get artifact, get radiant items. Yeah. Can this drop you dupes? I forget now. I might even be able to drop you dupes. Let me quickly double check. Little buddy bot. 9 lives. Yeah, I can drop you dupes on 3 lives. Yeah. So this is really good for reroll as well. 9 lives crew is probably also playable. I don't think we did this in our 4v4 lines ever, but I feel like this is not even bad. Do you get drop 5 costs from 9 lives ever? You can get drop 5 costs on. You get gold. It's a mix of gold and combat. I think it's actually really good. It's actually exactly what we're saying is good in this line, right? I think it's an A. If you believe crew is good, I feel like this augment has to be good for it. You can also win some rounds on 3-1-3. It's harder, I think, to win rounds because you're playing at low level, right? So you have to like hit 3-star early. Maybe it's a B for that reason because it's likely you lose every round, which makes your game really hard to play. Pandora's Radiant. This is like one of the best augments in the game right now because of how broken Radiants are. I think it's very good in this line because you want a lot of swords. You get Radiant item. Makes you poor, but it's worth it, I think. D in this line, you don't need specific items. Again, B in this line, you don't really... That's probably even a C in this line. You don't really benefit off of Radiant items that much. I think it's... Because there are only a few Radiant items you can hit, and I feel like it's a little harder to justify taking, but you can still take it. You're praying for just Radiant Blue or Radiant Chojin. It's a little sus, actually. This one you're praying for... You have quite a few hits with could be here. The thing is, if you hit the Radiant, it's so insane. I think it's an A in Kaisa. You have so many hits, right? You have more hits than most other comps. And then in crew, I think there are several Malphite hits. It's like Radiant Gargoyle, Radiant, most of the tank items. Radiant Visage is fine. Radiant Warmogs is kind of mid, but yeah, it's Gargoyle. Oh, wait, it's not even maybe last patch. The sample size isn't high enough. Yeah. It's Bramble, Stone Plate. These are probably the hero augment. It's actually not that good. Maybe it's not even that. Put it at B then. I thought it was gonna be an A, but it's like a B. Actually, you also want econ. It's probably a C in crew. Like you're gonna be poor, and if we're saying it's not even that good, then that's the point. Priz Destiny, you just always click it. I guess it's nerfed to 5 gold now. Usually, if you don't have a really good reason to not click it, you should be clicking it. There are spots where you're not meant to. Like if you have a really clear line to play loose streak or something, and you have a loose streak augment, then you just click the loose streak augment instead of clicking Priz Destiny. Priz Ticket 2-1. You typically have to open with this to have enough gold to actually use it on 3-2. I don't think it's awful. On 2-1, Priz Ticket into Kate Jace is a little slow, I think. I don't even think it's that bad though. It has to be like Econ Portal, I think, so you can really like use it and still have gold to do other stuff, level up and whatnot. I think it's like a B. It gives you really good odds to hit by like 4, like mid stage 4, early stage 4. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's amazing. It's just really slow, right? F. Cat, I think it's also like a B or a C. Actually, it's probably slightly better in the 2 cost reroll lines because you get to roll earlier into the game, right? You can start using it. Yeah, you get to roll 3-2. Here, you're typically rolling 3-5. Earliest, ideally 4-1. So that's probably too slow for those on 2-1. And then crew, I think it's like okay. You get free rolls, right? It helps you out. It's not amazing in that you want some board strength as well, but I think it's fine. You get to roll early. 3-1. Prodigy crown, we'll just skip the crowns. Protagonist, you always click, but it's not into these lines. Protector crown, we'll skip. Pumping up 3. Isn't this untakeable in almost all these lines? Pumping up 3. Did I like it for any other lines on silver? For any of these lines on silver? I don't think so. I said Sorks and Cat. What about Prismatic? I don't think I like it, and I think it's down back to a D with Cat because like you're just giving AS to Cat and like your Yumi. It doesn't sound very valuable. Like your Rakan is your other high value unit, and pumping up doesn't do that much for your Rakan. And then for Sorks, I think it's actually pretty good in Sorks. You get to blow stuff up right away. All your other units also benefit from it because they also do a lot of damage. Probably like a C. Makes you poor, which is why like for Prismatic it's kind of mid. If you do get to a late game though, I think it can be good. But I think as your game plan, I feel like taking it on 2-1 C with Sorks. Sometimes it's your best option though. Quality over quantity. This used to be very good in Soul Fighter, and I can still believe it's good. I don't think it's good in this line because you're playing a bunch of trash. Maybe it is. Like you're itemizing Ezreal and Garen. Probably not. In Soul Fighter, like your other Soul Fighter shitters can actually start doing that. Your Lux, if we actually have Stork, will do work. Your Kalista can randomly just kill units. Your Xin will be tanky. I don't even think this is that bad. Is there a way to check the stats on this? I just think the sample size is going to be too low. Xin, 2-star, 1 item, Radiant. Can I say like... Oh, I can just do a min of like 5 Radiant items. Oh yeah, there we go. And you just say 6 Soul Fighter plus. Oh wait, we found it. This line's actually good. Yeah, 386 is good. I always thought this was very good. I've seen it do well. I'm pretty sure this is basically that, right? Xin 2, 1 item, minimum of 5 Radiant items, 6 Soul Fighter or more. Pretty good. 3.86. I'm pretty sure this is also really good in Star Guardian, but I don't have Star Guardian on. I don't think this is good in Yumi. You can check. We'll do what you have to do like Syndra 2, I guess. 1 item, Radiant, min 5, 4 Prodigy plus. Doesn't even look that bad. The sample size is very low though. Looks fine actually. It's probably fine because you can use a lot of items in this. Put it at a B probably. Sorks also doesn't sound that bad. You just have to have very specific items. You have to have a lot of damage. So here we'd have to do Lux probably is the unit you're itemizing. Lux, 3 items. Or sorry, 1 item, 2 star. Let's not do some Lux 3 thing. 6 Sork. Yeah, it's quite a bit worse, yeah. 4.2. Put it like a C. Cat, I'm pretty sure it's unplayable in these reroll lines because you want all your power budget into 1 unit. I don't think it's very playable into crew. We tried this once. I don't think it's. You'll have too few units on the board to itemize fully. Radiant Relic. Same as what we've been saying earlier, right? I think it's actually okay in this line. Not amazing, but fine. And Kate, you spike off the Radiance, but you kind of want gold. I think it's pretty mid in this line. Like you're just going for Samira items. Pretty mid in this line as well. You're just going for like Yumi. Actually, it's probably a D in this line. So also probably a C in this line. It's really good in these lines, right? This one has like fewer hits, that's why it's a B. This one has many hits, so it's A. This one has a few hits, I guess. But if you get backline, you're kind of set. This one's probably like a C. Shimmer Scale Essence. Don't think this is playable in this line. F, because you don't really want gamblers in Soul Fighter, right? F, S. It's really good in this line, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. You typically put the gamblers on Ziggs, I think, eventually. Or you can also put on Janna. Let's look at gamblers. Yeah, it's fine. See, it's good on Ziggs. Pretty sure it's one of the best augments for crew. If you're willing to play crew from your spot, it gives you gold and combat in the form of items. Shopping spree. Is this playable? And I feel like you don't level up that much, so you're not gonna get that many rolls. I feel like it doesn't sound very good to me in a 3-cost reroll. I've never played it in a 3-cost reroll, and I feel like it's probably bad because you want to get a lot of rolls going 8 and 9, right? Pretty sure it's bad. Probably even a D. Soul Fighter is also super mid. You're rolling on 8 for the most part. You don't really spike that hard off of. It's probably okay. You can try to get to 9 and play on Gwen too. I guess. I think it's pretty good in Yumi. Like okay in Sorks as well. You get to hit the Karma. You hopefully hit the Gwen. You go 9 with Yumi. You go 9 with Sorks. F. Skipping Sniper Crown. Skipping Sork Crown. Skipping Soul Fighter Crown. It's probably good though into Soul. I'm just gonna skip it here. Star Guardian Crown. Skip. Starter Kit. We're going over Starter Kit. It's just. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, you're obviously playing these. Starter click, so like, there's no real option here. I guess it's a question of if you click it or not, but I'll just skip Starter Kit. Supreme Cell Crown, no. Tack Kitchen. That one also is like obviously telling you to play the line that you're going to play. Like there's no decision really. Tiniest Titan 2-1. Is this ever takeable on 2-1? I feel like I've seen people take this on 3-2 and it's okay in some spots, but on 2-1, I don't think you ever really take this into any of these lines. Well, I won't even bother then. People mostly know that. Upward Mobility. It's probably the same logic almost as Shopping Spree, except your goal is multiplied. So it's a little more like, it's better when you have gold as an opener. Don't think it's very good, and it's basically the same thing as Shopping Spree. Yeah, the same thing. Ability to go 9, and it's a little better when you're trying to play Crystal Gambit, I think, because you get to leverage the HP, and you potentially like can get a big cash out. But yeah, that's not what we have here. Wandering Trainer also just already gives you direction. Worth the Wait 2 gives you direction already, and Wraith Crown. I think that's about it. Cool. Any comments, questions about Prismatics? Okay. I don't know if I have enough time to do gold, so I think I'll skip this for now. It's also like a lot. So yeah, I think the logic was starting to become pretty straightforward, right? So maybe as an exercise, feel free to do gold on your own, but like a lot of it is based on the logic of like what the comp wants as a 3-cost comp, as a 2-cost comp, as a go 9 comp, that kind of thing. So you could try and do the same with gold, and I would imagine if you use similar logic, you wouldn't be far off of what I might come up with. Cool. If no other questions, I think I will call it there. All right. Thanks everyone for coming. Catch you all.
Thanks, Marcel.
Yeah. Peace.